Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I'm Coach Lilia. I'm a relationship coach and a narcissist abuse survivor and a teacher presence. And today I'll be talking to you about something called stonewalling. You've probably heard this term before if you research the topic narcissism. Stonewalling is probably the most common manipulation tactic that narcissists use in relationships, okay? So this is a form of withholding. This is a form of them giving you the silent treatment, or them maybe simply walking away from a conversation when the topic is not something that they want to talk about. Them maybe, you're addressing something to them and it feels like they're just looking through a wall, or they'll look somewhere else, or they will simply get up once again and walk away so that they don't have to talk to you. It's like you don't exist. They completely disregard you, right? They might actually start giving you some little warnings, like if you talk about this, I'm not gonna sit here and talk about it, I'm gonna walk away, or if you bring this up again, I'm not talking to you for a week. Those things. And when they do give you that stonewalling, the silent treatment, they might talk to you through a third party, like, maybe a pet in your house, like, could you tell him this, or could you tell her this, or through a child. Probably the worst thing that can happen when you are with your partner and you have children together and they're stonewalling you, and they're going to say, could you tell daddy this, or could you tell mommy this? And then the child doesn't understand what's happening. Why am I getting triangulated in this situation? It's horrible. It is such a form of passive aggressive abuse. And again, it is their favorite tactic. Why? Well, not just for control. It allows them to get out of any uncomfortable topics, any responsibility that they have to take. Like, if I hurt you, but then I just choose not to talk about it at all, then it's like it never happened, right? And then it's gonna work because you're gonna end up so frustrated. And it's gonna feel like every time you bring something up, it's like the narcissist stonewalls you sooner and sooner and sooner. Like, they get triggered faster and faster and faster. And what's going to happen with you is that you're actually going to think that it's your responsibility for triggering them. You're going to take that responsibility. You're going to be conditioned to that. And what's going to happen in the end is that you'll be walking on eggshells, just trying not to set off the narcissist, trying not to set off another days, weeks, or months at a time that the partner is not going to talk to you, right? And again, it doesn't just have to be a partner. It can be just a family member. It can be a friend. I think the worst of all is when it is your parent that stonewalls you, because then children grow up like feeling so confused with such fear of abandonment. They do anything and everything for mom and dad not to do that to them. And it's really hard because, again, that can be later normalized, and down the road, maybe the child will apply stonewalling in relationships, or they will normalize it if it happens to them because, well, mommy did this to dad or daddy did this to mom, so I guess that's okay. So it is very difficult, but it is what it is. And you need to understand that this is not going to change. Again, it's not just about the control for the narcissist. It's about the sadistic aspect to it, right? Because when they give you stonewalling, they see that awkwardness in you, right? They see how you maybe start rambling about the topic, over explaining yourself, right? Maybe begging them to talk about it, right? And then what happens when they do stonewall you? You probably beg them to finally break the silence, right? So it gives them that sadistic joy, right? They put you through pain. They see you going through pain. They're in control. They don't have to take responsibility for anything that they had to now, right? So they don't have to have the capacity for that closeness with you, that intimacy, that vulnerability part. Any relationship has to be vulnerable, and there has to be trust, and there has to be safety that you feel when communicating yourself to your partner, even when the topic is not something you both want to talk about, even when there is conflict. It's like we still feel safe to talk about it and to resolve the conflict. And at the end of the day, if we disagree, well, we'll just agree to not agree, because it's better than hurting each other, right? This is stonewalling, childish behavior. Think of a toddler that's angry, that does something bad, and then they think, okay, if I close my eyes and if I can't see myself, then maybe mommy and daddy won't see what I've done. Do you understand that? So this kind of trauma, you're dealing with a child. You're dealing with a child with a lot of anger, with a lot of rage, with no capacity for close relationships, with no emotional empathy, because nobody has shown it to the child. It was never mirrored to them. So you can't expect that out of a person, out of a grown-up that has never been taught love. I know that this is very frustrating for a lot of you because when you're trying to leave a narcissist, when you're in this dynamic, you're thinking to yourself, well, maybe if I just do X, Y, and Z, maybe there's hope that they will change. Maybe if we go see a family psychologist, counselor, or whatever, maybe things are going to be different and they will understand. Making the narcissist understand the term stonewalling, and this is what you're doing to me, is not going to make them want to not do it to you. It's not like they don't get it. It's like it works for them, so why would I stop doing that? When it helps me control you, when it makes you uncomfortable, when it helps me get out of any responsibilities that I don't want to be responsible for. Okay, so when you do address these things, when you do see that family psychologist, counselor, whatever, therapist, address stonewalling and see if it's going to change. If it's going to help you break the hope that something's going to change in this relationship, do go and address it and then understand that it's a hopeless case. Okay, and then you'll be able to break free from that hope, and then hopefully you will be able to end the relationship and not dwell on the past and not think that there's something you could have done that could have changed the situation. Stonewalling, again, when it happens in romantic relationships, that's half the problem. When it's your parent, that's the real problem, in my opinion, because it creates so much trauma for children. That sense of abandonment all the time, that sense that I don't matter, I don't exist unless I cooperate. It's like the narcissist is fully censoring what you can and cannot say. You're always living with these ultimatums. You're always walking on eggshells, not to trigger another weeks, months, or whatever of silence at a time. I hope this is helpful for you guys. I know that when we are in these relationships, it's really hard to break free because it's a trauma bond. When it's our parent, it's even harder because if we are minors and we have to live in this dynamic, not much we can do about it, right? When it is your co-parent that's doing it to your children, you can't gaslight your children and say mommy or daddy didn't mean it. You have to explain and make your children understand what reality is and that what mommy or daddy are doing is not okay, but it is how they handle conflict or uncomfortable situations. Another thing I want you guys to understand is that stonewalling is not the same as gray rocking. It's not the same as simply no contact after a relationship, because stonewalling is something that happens within an active relationship dynamic, okay? And if you like this video, please go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe to my channel. If you need to message me, do DM me on my Instagram. The link is in my bio. And I just hope this is helpful for you guys. And subscribe to my channel if this information is something that you're seeking, because I do put out a lot of content on narcissism, on how to break these trauma bonds, and so on and so on. I will see you in my next video, but if you do need that one-on-one session with me or you need to message me, all of those links are down in my bio. See you in my next video.